All right, let's start off by saying Barakatah Yahawah, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bracha Kodash.
All right.
Welcome
Let's start off by saying
to another live lesson.
Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bracha Kodash.
The name of this one is Eve's weapons are carnal. Yahweh's weapons are spiritual. And pretty much this is centered around this whole UFO, UAP, drone talk, videos, things of that nature going on. And we've done many lessons on the chariots and how they are the heavenly hosts of the Lord and how they're the vehicles of the heavens. There's many scriptures on it, and as of lately, a lot of brothers been bringing out, the book of Isaiah, 31st chapter, dealing with Esau's technology pretty much being carnal, and I just wanted to highlight that point and bring out some precepts that I have that go along with that particular subject. Because that's like the Apostle Paul said that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. But Esau's weapons of his warfare are carnal. They are flesh. And they will be defeated by Yahawah Bashem Yahweh Shai. And this is, pretty much how this devil's going to go down. Now, the scriptures, speak about Esau being the Most High's whipping stick. And also, the Lord is the potter and you are the clay. You've been fashioned, molded. You've been given the technology that you have. You've been given the weaponry that you have. You've been given a position of rulership that you have. And the Lord is about to take it all away from you. And the very thing that you used, which is the atomic bomb / hydrogen bomb / nuclear bombs technologies that you have, is the very same thing that the Lord is going to use to bring you down. When you first got that technology and you dropped those bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki and those different places in in Japan, the whole world was shook. So you had the upper hand as far as the superiority for weaponry. Now, to this day, you have more nuclear missiles than Russia, but Russia and other nations, so-called communist nations, have far more superior technology than you have because they have surpassed you, because it is a time for your demise. And the other nations, they're more encouraged to use their agricultural funds to feed their nation, to use it to build up their weaponry, because you've been used to being the bully for so long that now you can't go around bullying the nations like you used to. So this is why, instead of being straight up in these wars, you're using what's called proxy. You're using other individuals to start these wars, and you're funding them because you don't possess the power anymore to engage in these types of events. Now, you're still a major power, still a major superpower, still have a major military power and presence in the world, but not like you used to have at one point. So the first precept we're going to go to is in the book of Isaiah, the 31st chapter. We're going to read the first 3 verses, and then in the third verse, I'm going to get it in the NLT and NIV, because they go into it and give you, a little bit more insight into it. So it says, "Woe to them that go down to Egypt." Select it for a minute. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, that stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many. and in horsemen because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord, Yahawah Bashem Yahushai. So you Israelites, you see the might that this devil has, his technology that he has, his strength, carnal strength, and you lean on them because of this strength. But the Lord says, woe unto you, because the scriptures say that the ones that are escaped from this man's hands, which are the elect of the nation of Israel, will no longer stay upon him. They're not going to rely on Esau for anything. They're going to rely on Yahawah Bashem Yahushai in truth. And that's the mightiest weapon that we have is the words of Yahawah Bashem Yahushai. Like the Apostle Paul said, be ye strong in the Lord and in the power of his might, which is what? This word, which is more powerful than any instrument or any weapon that has ever been created on the planet. Because with the Lord's word, things were created out of nothing. With the Lord's word, he brought down major empires. And with the Lord's word, this place called America, which is Babylon the Great, also spiritually known as Egypt, is going to be brought down. I just finished listening to a video that Elder Pastor Hart did, right? And Bishop Nathaniel, that's right, he's doing damage control. And he spoke about, he was reading this article that was put together and talk about that Nero, they had to have a particular coin with the inscription of Nero. And I've heard that before, that Nero has 6 letters and 666 or something like that in his names and all that crap. Well, first and foremost, Nero, his last year for ruling was 68 AD, I believe it was. And that was approximately like 26, 27, 28 years before the book of Revelation was even written. So the MOTB in the book of Revelation 13, as Elder Pastor Hart pointed out, did not happen back then, even if they implemented something like that. It's just like today in America. The only way you can buy or sell is if you have your dollar bills, coins, or if you have some type of payment that is acceptable here. That does not make it the MOTB. And you can't purchase anything here without that particular type of money, legally anyway. All right. So that doesn't make that the MOTB. And like I said, the MOTB was written approximately 26, 27, possibly around 28 years after Nero's death, after he was taken out and, destroyed. So that has nothing to do with the MOTB. I just wanted to make that point. So now going back to this, it says, yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity. The Lord is going to take you out. Shall there be evil in the city and the Lord have not done it? Now, this is the main verse here, in the 3rd verse. Now, the Egyptians are men and not the Most High, because the help of man is vain. I have a few precepts somewhere in there. We'll get as many of these as we can just to make that point. So the Egyptians, which today is a representation, a modern day representation of the Edomite nation, Babylon the Great, America, right? And their horse is flesh. A horse represents power. Your horses here also represent your military. Your military is nothing but really flesh. Although you have tanks and planes and missiles and all that, they are manned by men, and not spirit. They're not spiritual. But now, in retrospect, one of the armies of the Most High, Yahawah, which is the Lord of hosts, are the angels, and the angels travel in chariots, and the angels are spiritual, and so are their chariots. The angels are celestial beings, which means beings of the heavens. Like the word celestial goes back to the word cielo, which is heavens, and this particular heaven is speaking about not the heavens of the heavens, but the heavens. Inside joke. You have three heavens on the earth. When you go up into the sky, into past the ozone layer, that's another heaven. Then you have the third heaven, which is the spiritual realm, which is where Yahawah, Bashem Yahweh Shai, the angels all dwell, Satan included, and the wicked angels on the left hand side. All right, that's the heavens. So that is what's considered celestial or celestial beings. So Esau's technology, his planes and all that, they're all man-made. The angels and the chariots are not man-made. They don't malfunction. They don't have to stop and take a break, or the one angel say, I'm getting a little sleepy. I want you to, or I'm getting a little hungry, so I want you to take off. I'm gonna pull over here in this galaxy so you could take over and drive while I get me a quick sandwich and a quick nap. No. It says, when the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down. So anyone, whether they are the helper or the one receiving help, is going to be destroyed. Because the Lord set up Esau for one thing, and that's to be the devil, and that's to bring judgment on the earth. And now he's about to take him out. That's why the very people that would be in power when Yahweh Shai returns with the angels to take him out are the Edomites. That's bar none. You can't, these devils could talk all, well, when you go to this word, you go to that word. Yeah, but who is going to be in power when Yahweh Shai returns? The scriptures clearly say it's the Edomites. They're the ones in power. So they're the ones that's going to be taken out. And if you look on the world scale, if you are being honest with yourself, the people that are ruling are so-called white people, which are really red. They're not really white. That's why the name is the Edomites. Edomites, or Edom, goes back to the Hebrew word Adawam, which means red. It says, and they shall fall together. And they all shall fall together. Right. So now when we go to the NLT here, it says, for these Egyptians are mere humans. It says, not the Most High. Their horses are purely flesh, not mighty spirits. See, but the angels are mighty spirits. That's why you have planes that malfunction, engines give out. If something goes wrong, that plane can go crashing, and the pilot has to, get out of Dodge, so to speak. You have to have parachutes in case of emergencies, so on and so forth. When the Lord raises his fist against them, and the Lord's not going to actually raise his fist against them, because it tells us in the book of Revelation, I'm sorry, not Revelation, that's another good one too, but in the book of 2nd Ezra 13, that the Lord's not going to raise up his fist or nothing. He ain't going to raise up a hand or anything. All he said that he did was he sent out a blast of fire out of his mouth, meaning the chariots shot lasers at Esau, and that's why Esau attempted to pretty much give you a little visual in the movie ID4, where the chariots were shooting lasers and the piloted ships of Esau were shooting down the angels. That ain't gonna happen. You don't stand a chance. You're a flesh. You are not a spirit. You are not in control of your emotions. The Lord is in control of everything, and he's about to bring you down miserably. It says, those who will help will stumble, and those being helped will fall. They will all fall down and die together. That's why it says in Revelation, the 12th chapter, that Satan, which are the Edomites, their place shall be found no more in heaven. What does that mean? You will not see any Edomites flying in the air in ships, in planes or helicopters or anything like that, once this third world war is fought and Yahweh Shai destroys, annihilates Esau's military and the nation's militaries. You're never going to go up there again. The only time you're going to see an Edomite flying is if you kick them up in the air. That's about it. But as far as being in ships, the ships, as far as being in these jets and, all whatever they got flying contraption they have, that's not going to happen anymore. Now the NIV says, but the Egyptians are mere mortals and not the Most High. Their horses are flesh and not spirit. That's why they need to rest. They need to sleep. They need to eat. They need to use the bathroom. They need to, whatever. When the Lord stretches out his hand, those who help will stumble. Those who are helped will fall. All will perish together. So it doesn't matter if you bond together with all nations of the world to fight against the Lord. That ain't going to happen, because this is what, and these devils have been known about the chariots for a long period of time. That's why Reagan made that speech at the UN years ago in the 80s, where he said, what if we found out that there was an alien force, that threatened, humankind in so many words? Will we not put our differences aside and come together to fight against this threat? Because they know that this is coming. That's why they set up, Space Force. That's why they have, early detection warning systems in the heavens, thinking that the Lord, when he comes back, he's going to trip, one of those, one of those things, and it's going to give you a signal. The Lord's going to come. It says, scriptures say that the Lord's going to come as a thief in the night, which shows you that these devils are carnal. They got the instruction book. They don't follow the instruction book because they can't follow the instruction book. They were created to be the wicked. The scriptures say that the Lord's going to come as a thief in the night, yet they're still going to set up so-called traps, early warning system, traps to warn them when the Lord's coming through, any alien intrusion, shows you how stupid these devils are. So now let's go from there, right? Let's go. I'm going to leave this just in case we come back to it. Let's go to the book of Isaiah 36:6, which is another precept, that goes hand in hand with this. And Isaiah 36:6, it says, lo, thou trusted in the staff of this broken reed. Why? Because the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked. He's the one that's systematically breaking this devil down. That's why in Isaiah the 14th chapter speaks about the worm is spread under thee. The worms cover thee. Your system is corroded. Everything that you have is falling apart. Why? Because it's nothing but flesh. It's fleshly made. It's not spiritual. So it cannot, it doesn't have a long shelf life. It says, a broken reed on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand, right? So if you have a broken staff and you have some type of injury and you're trying to raise yourself up on that, the purpose for a staff is for you to hold on to it to be able to pull yourself up. But if it's broken, it has splinters in it, it has jagged edges, and you're trying to grab onto it, you're going to cut yourself. You're going to mess yourself up. It says, and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him. So all of you Israelites that's trusting in this devil, you're gonna have, you're gonna be in bad case, because as it says in Isaiah 14, thou also become weak as we, because the Lord is breaking down Esau's power. He's taking away the influence that they once had in the world away from him. He's not able to use that silver tongue, that silver devil tongue anymore to deceive people as he used to be able to, because he's being exposed more and more and more. Just like Elder Pastor said, that the zombie spell of Nate is wearing off, on the people of his congregation. So he got to keep going back and revamping his breakdown. So much so that they're going into the Greek word charagma, so where did you get that from? That's not a word that's just thrown around like that, unless you have gone into the Greek, in the either Blue Letter or Strong's Concordance to look it up. Damage control. Now, let's go from there to Deuteronomy 32 and 30 and 31. The point is in 31. says, how should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight? This dealing with Israel, except their rock had sold them and the Lord had shut them up. Right. So that's how we were able to fall. Because if the Lord is with us, who can be against us? Right. For their rock, meaning the power of these other nations, for their rock is not as our rock. Right. Because their rock is carnal, weak. Our power is spiritual and strong. It says, for their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. So pretty much, their power is not like our power. Their power is not as strong as the Most High's power. Not even close. This is, matter of fact, got the wrong. Let me go to this verse here. It says, but the rock of our enemies is not like our rock, as even they recognize. So they recognize that the Most High is not weak like them. That's why they know that these so-called aliens, as they call them, are nothing more, or not nothing more. They are the chariots of the Most High, and they are the angels of the Most High. All right, the Lord knows that. I'm sorry, these devils know that. All right. Now, let's go from there. Moving along. Let's go to Psalms chapter 9 and verse 20. It says, put them in fear, O Yahawah Bashem Yahushai, that the nations may know themselves to be but men. Selah. So think about that. So the nations are men. Their power and their strength is carnal. That's why Yahawah said, when the Lord comes back, the powers of heaven shall be shaken, meaning the governmental agencies, your so-called mighty stealth jets and and your jets and all of that, your military might is going to be shaken. Your governmental powers are going to be shaken. Now let's go from there to the same book of Psalms. This time let's go to the 146th chapter and the 3rd verse. It says, put not your trust in princes, nor in the Son of Man, in whom there is no help. Right, because there is no help from these devils. Cursed be the man that trusteth in man and maketh arm his flesh. His breath goeth forth, he returneth to his earth. In that very day, his thoughts perish. Happy is he that hath the Most High, the power of Jacob, for his help, whose hope is in the Lord, Yahawah Bashem Yahushai, his power. So man's help is vain. All right. So let's go from there to Ezekiel 28 and verse 9. And this is, in a roundabout way, or parabolically, if you want to say it that way, speaking about the Edomites today, their power structure today. Ezekiel 28:9, which at one time you had different nations that had power. You had the Assyrians that were in that high, lofty position. The Babylonian Empire was in a high, lofty position. The Medo-Persian Empire, the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, they were all in these lofty positions. Now that power is transferred over to America because the power structures and riches of each nation are transferred from one to the next. Whichever one conquers that one before, they take on that power, that the previous empire had. And that's why Yahawah, when he comes back, it says that he's going to be known as the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, because he's going to get the credit for taking down all of these different nations and subjugating them and putting them under his feet. So Ezekiel 28:9. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am the Most High? But thou shalt be a man and no power in the hand of him that slayeth thee. So you're going to be given a reality check that you are not a power. You are nothing more but a mere mortal man. And, just like you had your time to come up, now you have to go down. Now let's go back to the book of Psalms, 33rd chapter. I'm going to read the 11th verse and jump down. It says, the counsel of the Lord standeth forever, the thoughts of his heart to all generations. Verse 17. And horse is a vain thing for safety, neither shall he deliver any by his great strength. Why? Because these vehicles that Esau has are carnal. Yahawah said when he comes back, he's going to come back traveling in his strength. It's not going to come back as a mortal man like he did 2,000 years ago. He's coming back as an angelic glorified body to take his enemies down, because that's what he's been waiting for. He said the day of vengeance burns in his heart. Now let's go to same book of Psalms, chapter 20 and verse 7. It says, some trust in chariots and some in horses. Yeah, why? Because of the power that they have, because the person is carnal and they can't receive the spiritual things. They can't perceive that anything can take these devils down because of this military might that they have, this power that they have, But we will remember the name of the Lord, Yahawah Bashem Yahushai, our power, because the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. Esau can't proclaim that. Esau can't even proclaim that his military will be able to protect you, because his military won't be able to protect him when the Lord comes back. You're going to have men that's going to be trying to hide from the wrath of the Lamb when the Lord comes back. Now let's go to Proverbs. And these are like some precepts, like I said, that I got off, just going through some of these precepts and, precepts off of precepts. Proverbs 21 and 31. It says, the horse is prepared against the day of battle, but safety is of the Lord, Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahushai. So yeah, you do have, the weaponry that Esau has that are prepared for war and all of that to defend themselves, but you're not going to be able to defend yourself against the Lord, Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahushai. Because as the scripture we read earlier, we didn't read it, I quoted it, Jeremiah 17:5, cursed be the man that trusteth in man and maketh arm his flesh. Because you're looking for man to protect you and not the Lord, Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahushai, you Israelites. Therefore, the Lord is going to destroy you and not protect you, because you're looking to this man, a carnal man, for your safety, because you see the great army that he has, the great power that he has. You'll trust in that more than you would in Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahushai. Let's go from there. I got a couple more precepts. 2 Chronicles, chapter 32 and verse 7. It says, be strong and courageous. Be not afraid nor dismayed for the king of Assyria, nor for all the multitude that is with him. For there be more with us than with him. So there's more with us than with him. Like I don't remember if that was either Elijah or Elisha. That was Elijah, because I believe that might have been Gehazi, his servant, that he was nervous, and Elijah asked the Lord to open up his eyes so that because he saw the great amassing of that particular military. I don't remember if it was the Assyrians at that time, but there was a great army that was amassing, and the young man got nervous, and Elijah prayed to the Lord to open his eyes so that he could see in the heavens the great host of the Lord, all the chariots and the angels that were there prepared to take that particular military down. Elisha, okay, the water, bro. All right. So they were getting ready to get busy. But the thing is that the angels are there, they're around us, but they can't be seen, but they are there. Everywhere we go, they're there. They're there. But us, in our carnal minds, we don't always perceive that, or we don't always see that, because we're still in this flesh. But then you say, wait a minute, yeah, the angels are here. They're always around. You know. Now let's go from there to the last precept I have, which is in the Apocrypha. I believe there was another one in Maccabees where Judas Maccabees was encouraging his men. I believe this was it, but I thought there was another one, like maybe around the 15th chapter, or either the first Maccabees or second Maccabees, where he actually also was giving a speech to his men. But this is one of them. So this is Second Maccabees chapter 8 and verse 16. And that was Nicanor and them. They had a great military, great army. And, at that time, Jake was on the run. Jake was on the move. That at that time, that was their time of Jacob's trouble back then. But the time of Jacob's trouble is now in this time. But back then, Jake was catching hell, so they were on the move. So they didn't have the supplies that Esau. I'm sorry, yeah, the Esau, because the Edomites is coming at us, and these other nations had coming against us, right? So Second Maccabees 8 and 16. So Maccabeus called his men together unto the number of 6,000, and exhorted them not to be stricken with terror of the enemy, nor to fear the great multitude of the heathen who came wrongly against them, but to fight manfully. See, so he gave them a pep talk. He said, and to set before their eyes the injury that they had unjustly done to the holy place. So they're coming against us wrongly. This is not a fight that we picked. This is a fight that they picked, and they messed with the wrong ones. And the cruel handling of the city, whereof they made a mockery, and also the taking away of the government of their forefathers. For they, said he, trust in their weapons and boldness. See, because there are many, and because they're they are got superior weapons. That's what they're trusting in. Just like Esau trusts in his missiles. Because what is the thing that they do whenever there's a problem that's too challenging for them? The first thing is get the missiles out, or get the missiles. And even in that movie, Planet of the Apes, Beneath the Planet of the Apes in 1970, they had what? They were worshiping that missile to deliver them out of any calamity. All right, it says, but our confidence, let me read that again. For they said he, trust in their weapons and boldness. But our confidence is in the Almighty, who at a beck, meaning at a beck and call, can cast down both them that come against us and also all the world. Why? Because the Lord said when he comes back, this great multitude that's going to be prepared to fight against them, there's going to be nothing left but ashes and dust and smoke. From the destruction that the Lord is going to bring upon them. It says, moreover, he recounted unto them what helps their forefathers had found, and how they were delivered when under Sennacherib, which was an Assyrian, and 185,000 perished. And he told them of the battle that they had in Babylon with the Galatians, how they came but 8,000 in all the business, with 4,000 Macedonians, and that the Macedonians, which are Edomites, the original Macedonians were Japhet, but the ones that took over, Alexander and them, they were Edomites. Being perplexed, the 8,000 destroyed, and 120,000 because of the help that they had from heaven, and so received a great booty, which is a great, they spoiled that nation. All right. So these devils trust in their weapons and in their boldness and in their power. But we trust in Yahawah B'Shem Yahushua, that when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. And that when Esau goes to fight against the Lord, he's going to be totally decimated. Well, not decimated, annihilated, because decimated just means the 10th part. They're going to be annihilated, but there will be left some of Esau around the world to go into captivity. Beginning with the international banking families, that's going to be the first crop of slaves. So Esau's weapons are carnal, but the Most High's weapons are spiritual, and Esau is going to be in for a rude awakening when the Lord comes to bring them down. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.